like, man, people are really paying people to do this. What's up, YouTube? It's Barry Fisherman, and today I wanted to talk about basically how I've been a gamer my whole life and how that has helped me transition into a tech role easier. So ever since I can remember, since I was like 7 years old, I remember when internet was first invented, we had dial-up connection or whatever. And you know, when that happened, I wanted to play the computer games and actually play online multiplayer with other people. And that particular game was RuneScape. So in order for me to even play the game, I had to figure out how the internet works, how I can have it at home, what type of computer I need, what devices I need, what connections I need, what cords I need, how a computer works, just simple, you know, basic computer knowledge, basically. So, you know, over the years, I would, you know, dive deeper into like Windows and a little bit with Mac when I was younger, but that kind of like faded away and Windows kind of took over as far as regular like personal computer user day-to-day actions or whatever. But yeah, so I had to figure out a way to get a computer, have internet connection, what companies offer internet connection, what type of cords I needed. And back then, when there was a phone call, your internet connection would go out. So if somebody's calling your house phone, it's gonna mess all your connection up. So that's some of the objectives and milestones you had to overcome when, you know, the internet multiplayer kind of first came out. Also when SOCOM came out, which is, let me fix my mirror real quick. But yeah, when SOCOM came out, which is basically like Call of Duty, but it came out on PlayStation 2. I remember thinking like, man, how are they playing together online? Like, what is multiplayer? Like, what is that? Like, how are they playing with each other on a console? You know what I mean? So then they went from computers to PlayStations. But the thing is, with the Ethernet cords and learning all the different connections and how it worked or whatever, actually having internet connection at your house, like I didn't even know that was even a thing. I thought it was just like the regular, like your phone connection. You know what I mean? I had no clue when it first came out. You know what I mean? I didn't know much, so I had to figure it out. So like even like little small stuff like that, just like diving in. Okay, what type of storage device do I need in my computer? What type of monitor I need? You know, just little basics and stuff like that. So even so, like one time my friend, he didn't have a keyboard for his computer. I don't know why they didn't have a keyboard. They didn't have a mouse. So you had to use tab and actually use like shortcut keys to like surf the web. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that was the one thing I remember growing up. Like I had to figure out, okay, we don't have a mouse. How can we use shortcut keys and different keys to navigate the page or even surf the internet? You know what I mean? It was a little bit aggravating because it took a little longer, but we still did it. You know what I mean? So little stuff like that, like I've been doing my whole entire life. Like even like buying a printer at home, like Mapper, configuring a printer and stuff like that. Like then when I got my first job in IT, help desk job, I was basically doing all the same stuff I would do at home or any other regular job, like any bug fixes or whatever. Like your Outlook start messing up, or you know your encryption certificates are messing up, you can't read encrypted mail, like having PST files and stuff like that. Like all that stuff, like doing updates for your computer, like all that stuff is simple. And even learning about IP addresses. So like go back to what I was talking about being a gamer. So you learn about the ping command. So now when I'm in the command line learning how to figure out my IP address and see if I have internet connection or not, depending on the type of numbers, the type of feedback. You know what I'm saying? So I was having a conversation with my wife the other day, and her friend and doesn't know what, though she knows what IP address is, but she doesn't understand the different types of like feedback. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn, like it's hard to understand that people don't, understand what I know. But of course, that's how I just think. When you start learning stuff, is it becomes second nature, but to other people, it's not. So, as I'm getting into my first help desk job, and I'm doing these, this I'm working. I'm like, man, people are really paying people to do this. Like, this is so simple. Like, but that's when I realized, like, man, like everything leading up to this point in my life was kind of like, molding me to be in a tech role. Like, what I mean? Like, it's always been in my life. Like, even with MySpace. So, even with MySpace, you could go into the code and change the color of your background and stuff like that, or even add, like the little music players to your page and stuff like that. But you had to do it in code though. So I was literally coding my website, like MySpace, like you actually like pretty much coding. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of stuff you was doing, not even knowing that you're doing IT. Like that's a tech role. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's basic troubleshooting. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, then the crazy thing is that, that first help desk job was the most money I've ever made at a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the most amount of money I've ever made, was like 65K. I had just graduated college in 2015, and 2019, 2019 is when I got my first help desk job. You know what I mean? So, and the crazy thing is, it was the least labor intensive job that I've had. I've been a financial advisor. I even had to walk door to door as a financial advisor, random neighborhoods, like, calling people all the time, going to networking events. There was a lot of footwork and uncertainty of getting paid. Then I worked at Finish Line, which is a shoe store. Standing for long periods of time definitely like messes with your knees and stuff like that. And then picking stuff up, it was boring as crap. You weren't really doing nothing. You're just selling shoes. And then worked at a gas station, stocking shelves. Like, that's so repetitive. It was boring as crap. Another boring job. Worked at a shipyard. Shipyard was cool, but it was really labor intensive. So like, my knees started hurting and stuff like that. I started, I had to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning. Like, it was really like working 12 hours, sometimes 15 hours, 7 days a week. Like, and I still only made that year. I did switch in the middle of the year, but I was on pace to make like 65, 68, but you gotta think how many hours I was putting in. I'm like, man, this don't even add up. Like, it's not even worth it. You know what I'm saying? So then I get to this IT job. I'm like, dang, like yeah, I'm working 10 hours and I gotta drive or whatever, but I'm not doing much. This stuff I would do at home anyway. I'm getting paid the most amount in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dang. Where this been at my whole life type thing. But kind of wanted to keep this video short, but I feel like you gotta also trust the process of what you're going through, and you need to figure out what you're good at. You need to figure out what you're good at, what your strengths are. And when I say that, you're not gonna like something until you become good at it. Just like with me with basketball. Like, I played basketball my whole entire life. And probably the reason why I only like playing it or actually love basketball because I was good at it. Nobody loves something that they're bad at. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even make sense. So you got to look at it like that. Also, you got to give yourself time to become good. A lot of people try new things and they quit in the first month. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like trying to go to the NBA and, your first semester of college, you're a freshman, you want to dominate the whole world, the whole nation in scoring, like, but you're not even ready mentally yet. You know what I'm saying? You're not even giving yourself time to develop to become that if you're not already that. You know what I'm saying? So that just, it's kind of like just a reflection on, how I grew up and the skills I have attained since I was like 6 years old, and how it transferred into tech. Anyways, it's Barry Fisherman. I'm out. I'm like, man, people are really paying people to do this. Like, this is so simple. Like, but that's when I realized, like, like, man, like, everything leading up to this point in my life was kind of like, molding me to be in a tech role. Like, I'm like, man, people are really paying people to do this. Like, this is so simple. Like, but that's when I realized, like, like, man, like, everything leading up to this point in my life was kind of like, molding me to be in a tech role. Like,